Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny video. And today I want to talk about FFG tournaments for Star Wars Destiny. I went to a tournament this past weekend, so I got to experience the rules in all of their glory. The shop decided to do a 100% by-the-book tournament, 35-minute Swiss rounds, cut, which is 90 minutes, 120 minutes final. So I'm going to go over, after I've been through one, what are my takeaways. The first takeaway is that it's good and it's bad. The Swiss rounds feel great. I was really worried going in. I intently brought a slow control deck to kind of see what would happen. How would a control deck fare? I already know how an aggro deck fares. You win real quick, there are no time issues. Would there be time issues with a control deck in a 35-minute round? And the short answer is yeah, there are. I had several rounds that went to about 5 minutes left. One went to 2 minutes left, but I was able to play quick enough, and my opponents played pretty quick so that there wasn't an issue. One thing I still am very worried about is if your opponent identifies very early that you are on a very late game mill strategy, with the way tiebreakers work, they can pretty easily just do a bunch of damage and play real slow. And those games where I was able to finish with 5 minutes left, if my opponent was intentionally playing slower than they should be, those games may not actually finish, which would be really frustrating. My first round opponent, this was kind of the case. I could tell that it was not because he was slow playing, but rather he was more of a new player. And, we got to about maybe 11 minutes left, and it was clearly going to take about, 8 more minutes, 9 more minutes. And I had to say, I don't know if you were aware, we're kind of running out of time. If you could try to move a little faster, that would be great. I don't want to be a jerk at some small tournament and be like, listen, man, I need to be able to finish my games. Then that's one of the really tough things about that. It's like, how do you react in that situation? But all the rest of the games were fine. I was able to finish. I would say what's so great about the 35-minute round is we had a 5-round tournament. It was over in under 3 hours, and everyone was talking about that afterwards. They were like, this tournament was amazing. I got in 5 full rounds under 3 hours. I love this format. The people who didn't love the format were the people who played in the top 4. That was myself and 3 other people. The top 4 is really ugly. 90 minutes is too long for a round of Destiny after a really snappy 3-hour tournament. If you just have a top 4, just a top 4 is another 3.5 hours. It's as long as a whole 5-round tournament, which seems absurd. And the other problem is there's no downtime because it's back-to-back games, 3 games in a row, then you immediately jump into another 3 games in a row. Very intense, lots of thinking. It's a bit tricky. Let me tell you how ours worked out that was especially bad. So we had 2 people. We had me playing Dooku Jabba against a Dooku Jabba. Very clear. Right as soon as we dropped the cards, this is going to take 90 minutes. Let's move fast. We both played very quickly. Still were not able to finish. It was a frustrating game where I was ahead in the first game, and it looked like I was going to win. It was very close. We were both going to be able to roll. I rolled my roll. We both had like mind probes and force throws, and I'm like, boom, all garbage. He rolls. Special on the mind probe, special on the force throw, and just is able to instantly do like 8 damage when he only needed like 6 to kill me. I only need like 2 to kill him. And so my point is that it went the full game. Like I couldn't concede at any point. Although it wasn't like I lost, but I lost and I dragged it out as long as possible. No, I lost on the last roll of the game. So there was one game. Second game, I win that one. We look at the clock. We have 29 minutes now to both set up and play a whole game. That's just not enough. It's just not enough for Dooku Jabba. It took me about 30 minutes to win all my games on the day, and that was with a setup that already happened. So it was pretty clear we were not going to be able to finish this game. And so then the tiebreakers came into effect, which is who can do more damage. And in a mill mirror, what that means is who has the weirder draw. Like, obviously I hard mulliganed for damage. I wanted my Kylo Saber, didn't find it. He found his. He was able to just plink away some damage. I was way ahead on mill. He only had something like 7 cards left in his deck, plenty of time left, but that became an irrelevant point. And so we went to time, and it was kind of a frustrating end, really for both of us, right? I'm on the losing side. He's kind of like, I guess I win, even though you had a crime lord out, and you were milling me, and it didn't look that great for me, but I win. And he's exhausted, right? He's just played a 90-minute round. The other guy, he played Django Veers. He just trucked his opponent in like 28 minutes, had to sit there over an hour, because we went well beyond time for our last round, because we were both trying to figure out, is there anything we could do once they called time. He sat there about an hour and 10 minutes just like this. Oh my goodness, how are these guys ever going to finish? So we finally finish. They're told, okay, your round starts. It's 120-minute finals, and they're like, 120 minutes more? What are you joking? The whole tournament was only like 3 hours. We're not going to do that. So they just split the prize and leave. The point is this, that I think for the finals, 120 minutes is enough to finish 3 games, but it's an absurdly long time for such a snappy, quick game, especially following a best-of-1 35-minute format. But the cut of 90 minutes is horrible. It's both too short and too long at the same time, so nobody wins. Nobody's happy. It's too long in that if you're the Django Veers guy who has to sit around for an hour and wait, it's awful. If you are the 2 control mirrors going against each other that can't finish, that's awful. Nobody wins in this format. So I think the answer would be to keep the cut also snappy. And the way to do that is to do a double elimination, best-of-1 rounds, maybe extend it to 40 minutes to give them a tiny bit more time. But essentially, you still don't get screwed by one bad game, right? If you lose one game based on bad draws and bad luck, that's unfortunate, but you still have that chance to come back and still be alive. Your road will be a little bit tougher. But it keeps the games really moving. No one has to sit there for an eternity while they wait for the next round to finish. I feel like it keeps the snappy nature of that going, and then it doesn't take 3.5 hours for the cut. It's just totally ridiculous. So that's my impressions of the tournament rules. In summary, the Swiss it felt really good. I'm still a little worried that 35 minutes is too short, but you know what? I think it's a price worth paying until someone wrecks it, because it feels so good to have a whole tournament be over in 3 hours. Then moving to the cut, oh wow, the cut does not work. We need to revisit this. Hopefully some other people that have had this experience will also echo these experiences. The problem that I'm finding is that since they say that these rules don't have to be used until store championships, I think most people aren't experiencing this. They're playing the Swiss, the tournament ends, they prize out the top 3 or 4, and they say the tournament rules are great. What are you talking about, Tiny Grimes? Try playing the cut. The cut feels miserable. All right, so hopefully you guys can post your experiences, message FFG, let them know what you think if you don't like this cut and you want to switch to double elimination, which I think will be really strong. I think we should at least try it at some events. Let me know if you do try it. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.